Hello, everyone, and welcome to NEC TV's Game of the Week. Tonight from Ronco Gym in Wells, it's Western Maine Conference girls basketball action as the Wells Warriors host the York Wildcats. Hi, everybody. I'm Eric Nelson along with Bob Gould for tonight's action, and we see the Wells Warriors girls team under head coach Jim Leach. We see them for the first time this year. They come in with a record of 0-2, and last year, Bob, a playoff team, 11-8, lost to Oak Hill in the quarterfinal round. We lost some very talented players off of last year's club, Alicia Tui, Kerry Sheehy, Robin Stanley. They've got a young group coming back, and also things compounded by the fact that two players that people expected to be on this team did not come out for the team. This is a very young, inexperienced, and really not a lot of depth on this team.
No, they have only one senior, Allison Mailing, and she's a backup reserve player. As you mentioned, Carrie Willett didn't come out along with Brandy Heath. Brandy Heath would have given a little bit more size. Carrie Willett would have been another guard. That's one thing they probably, one place where they're really not lacking is they're loaded with guards. They don't have any size. You mentioned last year they lost Alicia Tui and Robin Stanley, two people that size-wise they really missing this year. And Kerry Sheehy, of course, a real solid outside game, one of the better shooters. They lost her. This year, this is a team that's very young, as we mentioned, with only one senior, and very, very small. They're going to need to get the game in a little bit of an up-tempo against most teams. Are going to have to up-tempo it, and they're going to have to hit the outside shot against most teams to be successful.
Yeah, they've gotten off to a slow start. They lost by 9 to Cape in the opener, and then lost by 25 to a decent Kennebunk team just earlier this week. So they've started off at 0-2, and things don't get any easier when you face this York team.
No, they're going to face a very similar team to the team they lost to in their last game, Kennebunk, a team that dominated them off the boards. And again, tonight they're going up against a team that's just as big, if not bigger than Kennebunk, this York Wildcat team. We see them the other night. They dominated Marshwood when Marshwood was without one of their big people. Tonight, they're going. York's going up against a smaller club. They're going to have Wells is going to have their trouble keeping York off the boards. There's obviously some things that they're going to have to do to go against this team, York team. They're going to have to do a few things, and we talked about them prior to the game tonight, or the pregame. They're going to have to box out. We watched the Marshwood game against York. They didn't box out. They're going to have to get a body on their player, so much to the point that they take them way out away from the basket, almost to the point that that ball drops to the court. They don't care if they go after it. They just want to see that ball actually drop to the court. Just get a body on your person. Don't worry about where the ball is. They also are going to have to be able to shoot, as we mentioned, very well from the outside. When they do take the shot, they're going to have to do a good job with that. And the other thing they're going to have to do that Marshwood couldn't do is they're going to have to be able to handle the pressure. I'd like to think this team can handle the pressure a little bit better than Marshwood did the other night.
Yeah, you know, York comes off. They are 2-0 with a win over Scarborough and the win over Marshall, which we saw in Game of the Week. And their three big girls, Andrea Little, Joanna Brown, and Laura Coughlin, had 41 points in that game out of their 66. This team that likes the pressure basketball and likes the inside girls, and that makes it a tough match.
It sure does. And the thing is, we noticed the other night with Andrea Little is it almost gives them a three-guard look. A lot of people look at them as having three big people, and Andrea can do the job on the board, very strong and everything, but also she handles the ball extremely well. We saw a number of times she came down the court running actually the point and dishing off and doing an excellent job. They like the up-tempo. They want the pressure. As I mentioned, Wells a lot of times will like the up-tempo. Not tonight, they don't. I think Wells, if they have a chance tonight, the best thing they can do is try to take the air out of the ball and slow this game down and try to keep the game close for a long time. Because again, if the game is close late, I think the advantage all of a sudden starts to come to Wells because the pressure's on York. York comes in here thinking that they're going to win it pretty easily, I think. Okay, so the longer that anybody can stay close with York, the more the pressure becomes to go on York. I think Wells has to get York to come out after them, spread the court out, and try to take their advantage being one-on-one, being smaller, taking their people to the hoop.
Okay, Wells hosting York. We'll be back with the opening tip-off on Game of the Week right after this.
Come home.
And welcome back, everyone, to Ronco Gym in Wells for tonight's NEC TV Game of the Week. I'm Eric Nelson with Bob Gould and Steve Twombly on camera for Western Maine Class B girls basketball action. Wells against York.
Okay, the starters for tonight's game. First of all, for the visiting York Wildcats at the guard slots, Kristen Briggs and Jonna Weaver, and at the forward slots, Laura Coughlin and Andrea Little. At center, Joanna Brown. For the home Wells Warriors at the guard slots, Becky Nickerson and Jen Boone. At the forwards, Joan Cry and Christy Clark. And at the center, Ann Bickford.
And the officials for tonight's basketball game from left to right, Mr. Mike Corvo and Jack Fimple. And Christy Clark, the daughter of York head coach Rick Clark, will jump for the Warriors against Andrea Little. of York. So we've got a pair of sophomores jumping center. And the tap control by the Wildcats. JV contest won earlier this evening by York, 44-32.
Wells comes out in a 2-1-2. Packs it inside. Look low inside to Andrea Little. Knocked away. Ball loose, and Boone will come away with it.
Over to Clark. Bring the ball up. Wells' first possession of the evening. Briggs comes out to Nickerson. And Wells swinging the basketball around. York back in his zone. Wells being very patient here in the first possession. Rotating the ball around.
We mentioned about them taking the air on the ball, but the new rule that you don't have to force the action, especially where it's tied. There's no hash mark anymore. They can be very patient. I think the longer this game stays close, the better the chances are.
Bickford loses the ball. It's picked up by Jonna Weaver. She'll push the issue, bounces it to Andrea Little, and York has the lead.
Turnover that time. That's what York does so well, is they score off from their defensive pressure.
And Bickford bouncing it off a little, so Wells will keep the basketball under their own basket with the pressure, and lobs it into Nickerson. Becky Nickerson, sophomore point guard, has played well for the Warriors through the first two games.
We already noticed, though, Wells doing a better job handling the pressure than Marshall did the other evening.
Much better, much better. The Hawks had all kinds of problems with York's pressure.
You're going to see Briggs will be hounding Nickerson a lot, try to take the ball out of her hands. She's their best ball handler.
It's Joan Cry with the basketball. Over to Boone. So we've played almost 2 minutes here, and Wells being very patient on offense. York up 2-0. They continue to wait for the opening. And Briggs steals it from Clark in traffic, loose ball. It's picked up by Weaver.
Wells really not doing a real good job protecting the ball out here. They could do a better job, I think, of keeping the ball away from York by setting up some picks, maybe running a little bit of a weave or something to set some picks for each other.
Weaver swings it around to Coughlin. A little give and go along the wing. They dump it to Briggs. Misses a layup. Ball's tapped back out and controlled by Briggs. Briggs draws the foul out top on Jen Boone. That's the game's first foul.
But already, this time in the game, the last game that we played, it was something like 10-0 at this stage. So already, Wells in better shape than Marshall was in the last game we had with York.
And I think Mike Lewis had already called a timeout at this point. Laura Coughlin. Good box out by Bickford. And she's able to release from the pressure.
Well, we mentioned they're going to have to box out.
Oh,
and they also cannot afford to make unforced turnovers like that.
I think Boone was looking the other way on that pass.
They need to play smart, patient. And it's tough for these girls. These girls are used to like to play an up-tempo, forcing things, pushing it. They see an open shot, they want to take it.
Briggs from outside rattles off the rim. Rebound controlled by Cry. And then Cry fouled by Joanna Brown. That'll be York's first foul.
We see York some inbound pressure here.
5:03 remaining in the first quarter. 2-0 York, and Andrea Little layup. Game's only basket. They release Clark, and she's open. Nice pass from Nickerson. Clark stays with it. Out to Cry. Now York comes out into a man-to-man and really overplaying here. The lob to Bickford, drew the foul.
That's just what they have to do, is just that right there, though. Get York coming out. The other night, Marshall had brought their offense to York's defense. Now, as you see, that York is coming out after Wells, and when they do that, they're going to allow Bickford and other people to have one-on-one situations inside instead of 1-on-3.
2 fouls on Joanna Brown and 2 on the team as Ann Bickford, a junior, at the line to shoot 2, missed the first one. She will be relied on heavily this year to play a lot in the post and be productive. Wells on the board at 2-1. Weaver going to Little. In for the layup. So Andrea Little, who had 15 and was player of the game against Marshwood, has York's first 4 points. Here's Jen Boone.
Nice spot job by Jen. Pull it out.
Of course, she is the daughter of JV coach George Boone. So we've got some father-daughter ties running in this basketball game.
Well, showing a lot of patience. They look for the back door. Nice look. Jen had Joan going back door, and again, that's because York is coming out now and gone man-to-man, Eric. And that's what Wells has to hope for. They want man-to-man. Then they got to look for their best matchup is what they have to do.
Nickerson. That partially deflected?
I believe so.
Got held up, and the Wildcats come up with the basketball. Interesting game, but not a lot of scoring so far. It's 4-1 York. We're halfway through the first quarter. A lob into Brown will be Wells' ball.
Nice double team down low that time by Wells. Good help on the bottom side, and that's a nice job defensively.
If you're Jim Leach, things are going well. I mean, you can't really complain right now.
Absolutely.
This is what you want.
Absolutely.
Bickford, who has the strength to really throw a pass down court.
That's another good point. That's a good point.
They were releasing a couple of people, and she can do it. She can throw that pass.
That's right.
So again, they'll break in with Coughlin on Bickford. They get it to Boone. She dribbles right out of the pressure. Has Clark on the wing. Dishes it to her. Clark missed the runner. And stolen right back. Christy Clark stealing it. And Wells will set up. Here's Nickerson.
As I mentioned, the longer this game stays close, the more the pressure is on York.
Here's a turnover. Here's Andrea Little. Lays it in. Jim Leach, the man, the burgundy sweater. George Boone, the JV coach, in the white sweater. Interesting thing, you notice that Christy Clark almost committed the foul on Andrea Little. Will Rick Clark argue heavily if Christy Clark commits a foul and they don't call it? Well, they say, oh, she fouled her.
Well, Rick jokingly said the other night that Christy's going to be the only one they were going to let shoot, he said, in tonight's game. He said he hopes she has 50 points and they lose by 2 points. You know?
There's the pass from Bickford to Boone, and it'll be Wells' ball.
Wells really hasn't had a lot of problem breaking the pressure. They've done a pretty good job with it all night, Eric.
Well, they've, despite being down by 5 and they've only scored a point, I think they've played well through the first 4.5 minutes.
See the rotation here. Look for Christie on the outside shot.
It will remain Wells' ball. I'd like to remind you, we are coming to you from Ronco Gym and Wells. Western Maine Class B girls basketball action.
Wells has to be patient. They got to look for the screens, run their motion offense, or run their man-to-man offense. They got to isolate is what they need to do. Clear out one side and get your best player.
Briggs is on Boone. Boone spins and dumps it to Bickford, and she drew the foul.
That's what you got to do
on Joanna Brown.
That's right, and that's just what you have to do. It's quite simple. It's, you know, go to your strength, one-on-one.
It's just the third team foul, and it is the third on Brown as we see Jessica Martell, 5'6" sophomore, come in. So we will see York go a little smaller with a 3-guard rotation.
Well, I kind of thought that they might do this, go smaller, if in fact they had to come out man-to-man on Wells, which is what they've done. Wells has basically taken the air out of the ball and said, we're going to spread the court out a little bit.
Bickford misses both free throws. She has Wells' only point. Here's Martell. Bounces to Briggs. Drew the foul on Jen Boone.
Good call. Nice job by Martell to dish off in that circumstance.
That is the second foul against Boone and second against Wells. So both teams are considerable distance from the bonus situation as we get our first substitution for Wells, and that will be Pam Moody, the 5'6" junior, checks in for Joan Cry. Andrea Little. They get it to Briggs, who fakes the jumper. Dumps it back inside, and Little misses. Coughlin follows and misses. And here's Boone. 2:45 left in the first. York up 6-1. They'll come very close to 10 seconds. We'll stay Wells ball. Interesting, they put Rick Clark's book puts Johnny Weaver as best defensive player on Becky Nickerson.
Right, and it also saves him a little bit with Kristen getting the easy fouls too.
And Briggs steals it from Boone, but committed the foul.
Actually turns out to be a good foul because that would have been an easy 2 points there. I don't think you want to have Jen Boone trying to bring the ball up the court against Kristen Briggs. You better find somebody else to bring the ball up the court. There's got to be better matchups than that.
Briggs will take the open jumper.
Nice job boxing out by Pam Moody there.
Moody with the rebound.
I've unofficially got Wells ahead in the rebounding.
Boone, the runner, hits it. It's a two-pointer. Right on the line.
I would have said, no, no, no. I think coach is going, no, no, good shot.
It's one of those no, no, no. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, right.
Looked out of control, but it went in, so they've cut the deficit to 3.
Something we noticed that Wells doing that Marcia did, of course, the other night is running the zone. You have to run zone against York.
Coughlin. Boy, and York can't hit a layup. They had that problem against Marshwood, but it didn't hurt them. Nickerson, jump ball.
Well, the big difference here is for the zone, Eric, Wells running the zone, they're limiting York's second and third chances, or actually fourth and fifth chances that they were getting against Marshall because people are out of position. When you run a zone, you've got people in position to box out and get the rebounds. That's the big difference.
Chelsea Harmon, a 5'4" freshman, number 20, has checked into the ball game for Boone.
Now we see Briggs is on Nickerson.
They made the swap. Weaver is on Harnham. They run the back door to Nickerson. Nice move. Got it blocked by Coughlin. Here's Briggs. All the way. Loose ball comes down to Andrea Little. And she draws the foul.
That's a good foul. That's a good foul.
Just the third on the team, the first on Ann Bickford.
Wells is doing a good job to this point. They're pretty much playing their game. At that time there, Becky Nickerson broke on the back door and had the open layup, but a good job defensively to fill and come away with a block.
Andrea Little good on the free throw. This is not a good free throw shooting team, but she is by far the best free throw shooter on the club. Violation on the shooter. Little has all 7 of York's points. Nickerson, they get it up to Clark. A lot of running room in front of her.
Clark does a nice job, pulls it back out.
Moody, baseline, a little strong. Rebounded by Weaver. Martell lost it. Becky Nickerson picks up the loose ball. Minute left in the quarter, 7-3 York.
Well, it's like take the last shot, I would think here. They gotta be careful and stay patient. They've been patient, that's why they're in the ball game.
Oh, what a save
They got
by
somebody
Kristen
open
Briggs.
underneath, but they didn't get it to her.
What a save by Briggs. Nickerson at the top. They have managed to run the clock down now to 30 seconds left in the quarter.
You see Andrea Little having to come out to play clock, out away from the basket.
Bickford couldn't save it with 19 seconds left.
I think they tried to go low too quick there. They have to be patient. Rick Clark telling the other way, take the last shot. Make a big difference. This could be a 4-point swing here.
10 seconds remaining. Briggs takes a look. Oh, and I get it blocked by Bickford. Wells ball.
Nice job by Bickford. Big time block there.
3 seconds
I
left
would expect
in
to
the
see
quarter.
the release now.
Oh, ran the play before she got the ball. Now they'll run it. With 3 seconds left. 2-1. They'll have a chance to shoot. Clark.
Ooh.
Just got it rushed, but Wells Not a bad quarter. They only trail it by 4 after the first girls basketball action. The York Wildcats leading the Wells Warriors 7-3. Eric Nelson with Bob Gould. High above court side. A good and interesting first quarter of action.
Well, Wells doing pretty much what we talked about during the pregame that they needed to do. They need to slow it down and be patient on offense and take the air out of the ball, because again, as we mentioned, the longer this game is close, the more that York is feeling the pressure. York, as we noticed, came out of their zone and went after Wells, and Wells spreading the court, getting some good matchups down low, one-on-one.
There's the steal. Nickerson gets it up to Boone. Traveling, it is Boone, Moody, Nickerson, Clark, and Bickford for Wells. For York, Weaver, Briggs, Martell, Little, and Kathleen Byrne, who has started the second quarter in favor of Laura Coughlin. Remember, Joanna Brown, 3 fouls in the first quarter, may not see her the rest of the half.
If Wells has had one problem at this point, is they still have a hard time kind of holding themselves back sometimes when they do get a turnover, a steal. They still want to go after it.
Briggs from outside. This is the Wildcats' biggest lead.
Reach in foul by Kristen Briggs.
Second on Briggs, 5th on the team. Becky Nickerson right in front of us will put it in play.
Now that's not patience right there, and they were trying to run a play out of bounds, but if it's not there, you can't force it.
Briggs brings it up court. Wells packing it in from the free throw line. Andrea Little backing up off the rim. Nickerson with it.
Nickerson, nice job rebounding there.
And then lost it. 6:46 left in the half. 9-3 York. That's right, first half, not the first quarter. And Mike Corvo talking to Little and Moody.
You see him trying to double down on Little, whatever the ball side is, try to double down low.
Boone playing way off of Briggs in that zone. Martell from the wing. Wells ball.
Nice job boxing out again. Wells has done a nice job boxing out here.
So that was one place where York did a tremendous job against Marshwood. They out-rebounded them by a wide margin. Forced pass in. Back court.
Well, that's one way to get the ball out of bounds off the half court.
Of course, Martell just going for the loose ball. Of course, certainly has no idea that it's that close to the half court line. Boone thought it was a kick ball.
I did too.
Nickerson, Moody, and Weaver. Jump ball. And it'll go to Wells. Yeah, I think the officials weren't at the right angle for that one. It looked like it went off of Weaver's foot.
Nickerson, though, had a layup there, just came up short.
Clark, stolen by Martell. Quickly gets it up to Weaver. Takes it herself. Drew the foul. Foul goes against Nickerson. Her first, team's 4th.
Jonna Weaver. The other night I inadvertently recognized her as Jonna Brown as one of the guys, and
she let you know about it.
Yes, she did. She all I had to do was look at her and I could tell something was wrong.
Allison Mailing, the lone senior for Wells, sees her first action. Joan Cry comes back in. And we also see Melissa Stone come in for York.
Well, everybody's going to see playing time on this Wells team. They only have 9 bodies.
Oh. I thought you only get those bounces at home. Weaver puts the Wildcats into double figures and misses the back end. Pam Moody with the rebound, and fortunate there because Mailing had fallen down and Moody passed her the ball and they picked up the foul. That's the first on Martell, and that makes 6 on the York team. So next time around they'll be in the bonus. It'll stay Wells.
Wells having more trouble with the pressure of late. York gone that man-to-man pressure, and Wells having a little bit more trouble with it.
If anything, fatigue could be a factor.
That's
with
a good
only
point.
9 players. I mean,
Good
York
point.
certainly can go much deeper.
Good point, Eric.
Moody up ahead to Nickerson. They're going to run the break. Little 2-on-1 here. Becky Nickerson drew the foul on Weaver.
Took it right to her. Gianna just never got herself in position, good position. Left her feet. If she had anticipated a little bit more, I think she could have got herself set and maybe tried to draw the charge, because you could pretty much see that Nickerson was making up her mind to go to the hoop.
And we see some pretty good sophomores on this court. I mean, Becky Nickerson for Wells, and certainly we've seen Andrea Little. And
Wells not hitting their free throws either. They've had some opportunities, but
no, they're just 1 for 5. This is their 3rd trip to the line.
Can't get it to go.
That's hurt him.
Yep.
Martell off the bottom of the backboard. Here's Jen Boone pushing it up. Now she'll slow it up. 5:45 left in the half. 10-3 York leads. This is their biggest lead of the basketball game. Back door to Moody. Short.
Again, a good opportunity. Those are the type of shots that you gotta make. Wells has had their chance. They should be right in this ball game, Eric, between the free throws and 2 or 3 layups that they've missed.
Boone, the outside jumper.
She's been their offense.
Yeah. She has their only field goal of the game. Little nice
pass.
bounce to Martell. Jump ball. And we see Ann Bickford check back into the basketball game. And it's the foul on Bickford. I think she even realized, she had made a mistake in what she'd done. She was behind Little, and virtually nothing you can do in that situation.
That's her 2nd foul. She's one person they can't afford to lose, obviously, with a foul.
Yep. And that is 5 team fouls. Christy Clark in for Boone.
Give him a little bit more size. Now move Moody from forward slot to a guard slot.
Jim Leach did a decent job substituting, I think,
Yes.
giving girls a rest. Bickford got a nice little blow there for a few minutes. Stone, who has a good outside shot, hits
That's right. Yeah, that's why she's in there, too, because she is a very good shooter.
Nickerson wide open. Up to Clark. Back to Nickerson. Drew the foul.
Nice job by Christy Clark. Kind of a little give and go. Give and go and give.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think Jim Leach is saying, Christy, turn and look to the basket that time, because she did have a good avenue to the hoop. She was actually tough for her to pass it back to Becky than it would have been for her to take the shot.
Nickerson to shoot 2. She was 0 for 2 her last trip to the line.
Been a long dry spell for Wells, hasn't it?
Yeah, first points of the 2nd quarter. It's the 5:04 mark. This is the 2nd one. Little comes away with a rebound. 12-4 York. Stone again from the corner, missing. Wells ball. Off of Weaver, I believe.
Wells running a 1-4 out of bounds now. And York, is playing back a little bit more now. They're running a zone pressure.
2-on-2 here. It'll stay Wells' ball. Stone knocked it out. Just got to it.
Yeah, you got to step to the ball, as Coach Leach is telling you. Got to step to the ball, and also Ann Bickford has to be looking at the whole court. She had her open a lot earlier. So York maybe falling back in his zone again, 1-3-1.
It looks like Briggs out at the point. See what Wells does offensively.
Oh, had her there too. Just passed it at her feet, but had Joan Cry inside.
So 4:31 left in the half. Wells has not played well offensively, but hasn't played badly defensively.
Right, and they've done a good job handling pressure, but they've slowed the ball down. What they've intended to do, yeah, they haven't played well offensively considering the opportunities they've had. They haven't taken advantage of it offensively.
Yeah, considering this York team scored 33 points in the first half against Marshwood. I mean, they've done a good job holding them to 12, and there's traveling. This is a very different game from what we saw earlier in the week from the Wildcats.
Right, well, Marshwood thought that they could run and get an up-tempo game with York, and I think they found out after that game that they can't play an up-tempo game with York. Although York has that big size, they'll surprise you. They run the court well, and they have good defensive pressure. Because, as we mentioned, Andrea Little is actually a 5'10" guard.
We saw how well she can handle the ball.
Had Ann Bickford all alone, but she didn't turn square to the hoop. She had Ann Bickford. All she had to do is turn and look to the hoop. That's what a lot of players, young players, you've got to turn and square to the hoop. You can't see if anybody's open if you get your back to the basket.
Nickerson. Coughlin is back in the game playing the middle. Continue to play with the basketball around the perimeter. Clark finds Cry.
She walked, though.
Traveled.
They took the time, worked it nicely, though. They're getting closer every time.
See what York can do offensively this trip down. They have managed 7 points in the first quarter and 5 here in the second quarter. Stone off to Coughlin. Boy, she's got a nice touch from outside.
Nice shot. Yep, she's a good shooter. That's what I say about their big people. Their big people play well. They shoot well from the outside, and they also handle the ball very well. Coughlin and Little do.
She had 12 in the Marshwood game. That's her first bucket tonight. Cry.
That's
stolen in the middle. Briggs with Clark back. Reverse layup.
Nice move. I think Wells going to take a timeout. Nope. Okay.
And warning York to leave the basketball alone once it goes through. We see Heather Mailing, number 21, a 5'7" freshman, into the game for Wells. So Jim Leach has played everyone in the first half, all 9 that he has available. 16-4, biggest lead. It's a turnover.
Well, Wells' turnovers piling up here. And I think, like you mentioned, I think fatigue's a lot of it are.
Remain back in that zone. Briggs hit one outside shot, dumps to Coughlin. And a foul on Christy Clark. That's her first in the team's 6th. Maybe I missed one. That's the team's 7th, apparently. So she will be going to the line.
Both teams in the bonus situation. Nickerson finally gets a blow. I believe she's played all but, or all of this game up to this point. Is 2:38 remaining. I don't believe she's come out. I think that York's going to need this Coughlin to shoot well if they're going to be successful this year or continue to be successful, because I think teams are going to pack it in on America. I think teams like Kennebunk will, and they're going to need to hit those outside shots.
Wells ball. Ball did not hit the rim. And here's Wells against the press.
It's a zone press, you can't dribble.
Briggs from Little.
Zone press, you can't dribble.
6 for Kristen Briggs. The lead is now 15, 19-4. 2:28 left in the half. Boone. Can't be a one-man team here, Bob. She's going to pass basketball.
Well, that's what I just said. You got to see the court, and if you're dribbling, unless you're a very adept dribbler, you're not seeing the whole court probably as well as you should. Especially bringing it down the sideline, because you're limiting. You're really taking away half the court. Your offensive capabilities.
First foul on Stone as Weaver comes back in. And Jen Boone to shoot 1 and 1. Warriors have had a tough time at the line, just 2 for 8. And it's just their second point of the second quarter. Got them both. 13-point York lead. Quickly into Coughlin, off the glass hard, and it's rebounded by Bickford. Getting quite physical underneath.
Coach Clark thinks it was a foul the other way, kind of holding his players down low, I think is what he's complaining about. They're not getting an opportunity to get the ball low. Wells putting a lot of pressure on him down low. The double team being very physical.
Bickford to shoot 1 and 1.
Haven't hit the free throws though, not enough of them.
Nope, just 4 for 11. They steal by Bickford, a loose ball. It'll be a jump that'll go to Wells.
That's Andrea we saw the other night, but Bickford did a nice job stepping in. It's very tough. What was even tougher for Andrea is that she didn't get herself set when she tried to make the pass. She tried to make it off the dribble, and that's very difficult for anybody. I think Allison Gagnon is probably the best I've ever seen at that.
Don't forget, coming up at halftime, we've got some halftime statistics. Bringing you that in just a couple of moments. Minute 50 remaining in the first half. Wildcats up by 13. Pam Moody over Andrea Little. Missed the shot.
Good opportunity, though.
Coughlin.
Boy, she's good right on fire, hasn't she? She's got the size, too. She can shoot right up and over people there.
5 for Coughlin in the second quarter. Third foul on Jonna Weaver. We see Andrea Johansson, 5-foot sophomore, check in as Weaver sits down. So Weaver and Brown have 3 fouls. Brown has not played since early in the first quarter. Pam Moody good on the front end. That's her first point. Wells still has just 1 field goal in this first half. Jen Boone jumper, first quarter.
And you'd think they'd be trailing by a lot more than, boy.
You think they'd be trailing by more than 13? You got that. 21-8. Just a minute 15 left in the half.
I think Coach Lewis would have been happy to be down only 13 the other night, huh?
Coughlin, turnaround, yes, gets it to drop.
Boy, that was a tough shot, I'll tell you. She had 2 people on it, she still got the shot off.
7 now for Coughlin. Oh, Clark and Martell collide. And they say that Boone stepped out of bounds.
Now, it's travel too, but again, forced right into the double team. There was 3 people here, and you got to keep your head open. You got to see who's open.
Johansson into Coughlin. A high lob to Andrea Little. Lost the basketball.
Nice job by somebody to take away from it down low.
Quick double on Bickford. She gets it away.
Got to keep your head up.
York ball as Chelsea Harnham comes back in. 31 seconds left in the half.
I think that's what Coach Leach just told you. You got to keep your head up. There's no way you can dribble through 5 people.
See if York goes for the last shot.
Christy Clark tried to steal it. Oh, nice job by Bickford.
Bickford's made a
Great
she
turn.
made the nice block on Briggs earlier, and then
Well, she's played well.
Yeah,
She's played
she has.
very, very well.
and she has to. She's their legitimate inside threat. So Wells with a chance to cut it to 13 at the end of the half. There's 12 seconds left.
Here's a girl you want to shoot, I think.
And they know that. They had Briggs on her. 2 seconds left.
I'd be setting Christy up for a 3 if I were you. She's the best shooter.
Have to develop quickly here. Just 2 seconds. Bickford lofting it up. Yes!
Whoa!
A 3 at the buzzer. Cuts the lead to 12. It's been that kind of half.
Only 2 field goals in the first half, and they were both 3-pointers, I believe. They were. And no, you're telling me no. Okay, the first one was a 2, actually a 2. It was close on the line. That's right, it was close. But you know, if I'm Coach Leach, you're going to be pretty happy with what's happening right now. I mean, his team, obviously, if they'd have, could have been better. I mean, they've been in a situation where they could be better. But all in all, he's going to be pretty pleased. They're only down 12 at the half against a very, very potent York team.
For Ann Bickford's three-pointer at the buzzer, Wells would have gone an entire period without a field goal, which of course leads us to some rather interesting halftime stats.
Very interesting. Figuring New York's not a good shooting team, they're actually 10 for 21 tonight, a very respectable 48%. That's good for them. 3 for 6 from the free throw line, shooting at 50%. Rebounds, they have 10. Turnovers, 8. For the Wells Warriors, only 13 shots in the first half. They made 2 of them, shooting at 15%. 6 for 13 from the free throw line at 46%. They also have 10 rebounds and 14 turnovers.
Okay, taking a look at the individual halftime stats. Top scorers in the first half. Andrea Little and Laura Coughlin lead all scorers with 7. Kristen Briggs has 6. For Wells and Bickford, thanks to the three-pointer, has 4 points in the first half, and she's followed by Jen Boone also with 4. Foul trouble in the first half, which may or may not be a factor in this ball game. Jonna Weaver and Joanna Brown, both with 3 fouls, and Kristen Briggs with 2 for York. For Wells, Jen Boone and Ann Bickford, both with 2 fouls in the first half.
And all in all, Eric, Wells did just about what they wanted to do, except that they didn't finish off when they had the opportunities on the easy baskets on the layups when New York came out and overplayed them. Other than that, I'd say Wells.
Nelson with Bob Gould and Steve Twombly on camera at Ronco Gym and Wells. Our next game of the week telecast, York and Wells boys. And after that, we get into the Class A ranks. Another boys contest, the Sanford boys hosting a very talented South Portland team that you can catch later in the week on Wednesday and Thursday at 7:30 on Game of the Week.
South Portland, one of the top 2 teams picked this year in Class A. Transfer students, a lot of players back. That'll be a real test for you. Sanford, of course, Sanford predicted to have a pretty good team too, so that should be a good early season battle.
York in the light blue uniforms. Kristen Briggs outside jump shot. Off the mark, Christy Clark with the rebound. For Wells to start the second half, Christy Clark, Becky Nickerson, Jen Boone, Ann Bickford, and Joan Cry, the starting 5. And also the starting 5 for the away Wildcats. Kristen Briggs, Jonna Weaver, Andrea Little, Joanna Brown, and Laura Coughlin.
York extending zone.
Gave the outside shot to Nickerson for a moment. And they're going to give her the 3.
Well, showing good patience,
wait.
though. Oh, lost it, though. Now I wish they'd taken that 3.
Lost of concentration there.
Yeah. You have to play sharp if you're going to play that type of game. You have to be very alert.
Coughlin. Bickford with a rebound. Played over a minute. No score here in the second half.
You notice that Briggs is out on Nickerson. They're still playing a zone, though. 1-3-1 zone.
Top part of that zone playing real deep as Boone missed the shot.
That might have been a little bit of a forced shot there, I think.
Kristen Briggs.
She had it blocked by Christy Clark, I believe.
Yep, got it blocked, and it will remain York ball.
She's had more shots blocked tonight than she's probably had in her lifetime.
I don't even know if she's taking a shot tonight.
Well, she's had a shot outside.
Shot
Yeah,
outside?
she made one from outside. How about Kristen, right?
I'm sorry, Christy Clark.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you
you
meant
mentioned Clark
Yeah.
after the. But yes, Kristen Briggs has had a lot of shots blocked tonight. That's I'll get the point sooner or later. Andrea Little missed the
Coughlin
runner.
just went up and over, and that time, that's when Christie has to get a body on her because she just went up and over. Christie was in good position, but Coughlin just with a size advantage.
25-11. 14-point Wildcat lead. Score was just 7-3 after the first quarter. And New York outscored Wells 16-8 in the second quarter. Nickerson along the baseline. They'll keep the ball. Mike Corvo and Joe Fimple, the officials for tonight's game. Boone, long three.
Ooh, boy. Clark did a nice job crashing the boards.
Briggs is going to push the issue. Boy, she's got that little move down.
Got somebody down court, but didn't see her. Boone had her head down. She had Clark all alone down court. Just didn't see her. We talked about that in the first quarter. You got to keep your head up.
Goes cross court to Clark.
Here's a girl who's got to shoot right there.
That's the girl I was talking about
Yep,
before.
that's right.
Then shot the
She's a
basketball.
scorer. She's the best shooter on this team. And she, like you mentioned, I don't think she's taking a shot. Nice pass by
into
Boone.
Bickford.
Nice pass.
Here's Weaver. Through the
Another
zone.
Oh, ooh. That looked like a block there, too. I thought Ann had another one. That looked like a lot of ball.
3 on Bickford. First foul of the second half. 5:05.
Bickford will have to come out with the 3 fouls. No, she's not coming out. Christy
No.
Clark's coming out.
Moody in for Clark.
I think Coach Leach is going to tell her she's got to look for a shot.
Weaver misses the free throw. Jana is now 1 for 3 from the line. 1 point in the game. That's short. How often do you see that? Player back rims it, overcompensates on the
That's
second
right.
shot.
Yep.
All psychological up at that line. Here's Nickerson. Break the press nicely, that trip down. You can see Nickerson, a pretty competent ball handler.
Tough pass there, double team. You see that one coming. Briggs was on the other side of it.
Briggs from the weak side with the steal. Bounces to Weaver. Missed the
Nice
layup.
defense that time. Nice defense by Wells. Wells got a little bit of a break here.
Nickerson's going to push it. All the way. Becky
Oh,
Nickerson
nice
missed the
play.
layup.
Now a running game. And
Yeah.
This is going to favor York when you get into this game right here.
Andrea Little traveled.
You got to give York the big edge if this gets into an up-tempo game. Not that they don't have the big edge already, being up 14. This lead can balloon real quick, I think.
Wells has had trouble
Too
scoring
slow on
points.
the pass.
Steal
Nice
by
job.
Brown.
Nice job by Brown. Real slow on the pass.
And Weaver traveled. We see Harnum into the ball game for Wells, who will check in for Moody. 4:16 left in the third quarter. Wells has yet to score in the second half. And we've actually only seen 2 points in the second half so far. That was the Laura Coughlin basket. Lob to Nickerson.
Not in good position to take the shot.
Here's Weaver. York wants to run with the basketball. Briggs stops and pops and hits.
Like I said, getting into a running game. And Wells making some turnovers.
8 for Kristen Briggs. Harnum lost it in the double team. That's tough. Freshman against 2 experienced seniors. Short. Good rebound by Joan Fry.
Nice rebound by Cry. She did a nice job boxing out there. She had her person so they couldn't come within 3 feet of the basket. And there's no way anybody was going to take that ball away from her. I mean, Wells has done really a nice job on the boards there, considering their distinct height disadvantage.
Martellin for Weaver. Here's the trap. They get it to Harnum. What a pass into Nickerson, and she stepped on the line. That was
tough pass.
Real tough pass. A few more feet would have been a shot. Where is that thin line that between shot and pass? Little, nice move.
She's been pretty quiet tonight, though.
She scored 7 in the first quarter and hasn't scored since.
Oh, nice steal by Briggs.
Oh, look at her
Nice
move.
dish.
Lid's been on the basket for Little. Called her on another foul, the second team foul of the half. Rick Clark will definitely have some things to talk about after this one. His team leads by 16, but still has not played as well as they can. With 3:13 remaining here, they lead it by 16 on Game of the Week, 27-11. And Wells, on the flip side, has had some scoring droughts in this game, Bob. It took them 3 minutes to score their first basket. They went on a 3-minute drought in the second quarter and haven't scored here for almost 5 minutes in the third quarter. Boone, Nickerson, Moody, Bickford, and Cry in for Wells. Martell, Briggs, Brown, Coughlin, and Little in for York. York ball.
Yeah, and Jen Boone that time didn't have a real good look at where she's throwing the ball. And
Wells stays in that familiar zone we've seen.
nice
throughout
steal
the
there
game.
by Jen. Couldn't hold on to it. Good steal. She's a very quick player. I think sometimes that is it hurts her, though. I think sometimes she tries to play so quick she plays out of control. I think she needs to learn to play a little bit more under control. She has to learn to use her speed as an asset.
Turnover. Pam Moody picks up the basketball.
This is a quick team, but again, they have to learn to play with that quickness.
Boone missed the shot. Rebound by Joanna Brown. This traveling.
York has had a lot of turnovers, a lot here in this second half. A lot of, as you would almost call, unforced turnovers.
2.5 minutes left in the third.
Wide open.
Cry.
Oh,
Muscles
nice job
her
by
way
Cry.
in.
Nice job.
Really got position on Brown
Right.
and missed a shot.
I think Wells, though, too, and when they get that ball, they've got to be, nice job by Joni there. What they have to do when they get that ball down low, though, Eric, is they have to be ready to shoot it as soon as they get it, because they're not going to have a lot of time, especially with a team with that much height. So they have to get the ball and immediately be ready to take the shot.
That is just the second foul on Martell. Just the third team foul. There's only one team foul on Wells in the second half. So neither team near the bonus. And Martell knocks it right to Bickford. They have trouble getting it over here. Briggs drew the foul. Moody's first. Harnum and Mailing in for Boone and Bickford. So Bickford will get a rest, as will Boone. Kristen Briggs at the free throw line. Nine for Briggs. She can become the first player in double figures. She missed the free throw. Wells ball.
Mailing did a nice job that time boxing out Brown.
Here's the press. Cry into traffic. Andrea Little finally gets one to drop. She now has 9. There's a steal. Oh. Break for the Wildcats. Martell made the nice save. And right off a Wells player.
Tough
Joanna
pass.
That is very difficult bounce pass.
Nice
Little
move
for
by
2.
Little. Get herself out of the traffic, out of the double team with the dribble.
Little now with 11 to lead all scorers and tie Wells' output. There's another steal. Here's Briggs to Little.
Blocked by Britt Nickerson, I believe.
And followed it in.
Wells coming apart here.
So now this looks more and more like first half of the Marshwood game. The
Right.
turnover is just hurting Wells. Martell for 2. Her first bucket. And a quick 11-point run. Let's put York up by 25, 36-11.
Wells going to take a timeout with 1:01 here. Now Wells obviously in a situation where they've got to go after the shots, the three-pointers and everything else. See, the pressure finally got to them. They lost their patience, and well, that happens with a young team. They're a young club. I think, you know, all in all, they did a pretty good job. I think, you know, as they look back on this, they'll see that their opportunities were there. They weren't able to finish them off, but I think they came in with a good game plan. All in all, I mean, coming in, realistically, the chances weren't good anyway, and I think the way that they ran their offense, slowed it down to the out, gave them their best opportunity, and realistically, I think they had a real opportunity.
Yeah, I think York just finally warmed down.
That's right, exactly. Yep.
You know, just a couple of minutes ago, it was a 13-point game, and then that big run, a couple of quick steals, and
that's a good point, Eric.
That's the end of it. As we see Andrea Johansson and Kathleen Byrne come in for York.
I noticed Coach Clark talked prior to the game, and he said, you know, that pressure, you know, may not result in always a lot of turnovers, but it's going to wear teams down. And before the game's over, it will pay off.
And now you wonder when they're going to start going for the three-pointer. Moody, that's a rainbow, missed it. Martell, what speed!
Oh, tremendous. She gets up and down the court very quickly.
She blew by the field, Bob.
She gets up and down the quick as anybody. Coach Clark said in a straight line, she's as quick as anybody. Dribbling the ball inline.
Foul is on Nickerson, her second and the team's third. York just 4 for 10 from the line tonight. And 4 for 11, even though Martell works to get it back. The foul is on Heather Mailing, as the Mailings, both of them are into the ball game. And we will see Melanie Griffin, senior, come in for Martell.
Martell goes out, having done a good job. Hero made a few turnovers there, but once this game got an up-tempo game, then that was her game.
Brown from outside. Wells ball with 30 seconds left in the quarter, 38-11 in favor of York.
York pulls the press off. They'll run their zone again now with the big lead. Now they know Wells has to take the outside shot, so they'll zone him. Give him one
Moody
shot.
Missed the runner, followed and fouled.
Nice job by Mailing following the shot. As I mentioned, the only thing Wells is really lacking is just the height. The determination, the inside play that they have is very good. I mean, if they had any height at all playing the way they play now, they'd be very solid in the rebounding.
Heather Mailing, a 5'7" freshman. Front rims it. Wells is now 6 for 14 from the line. It's roughly 40%.
Wells can't get on the drop either. They've had a couple of them have done that.
Nope. Byrne up ahead to Johansson. They'll slow it up for the last shot with just 7 seconds left in the quarter. Nope, Wells will get an opportunity. 6 seconds left. Nickerson tosses it up. Wells goes scoreless. Go Jim and Wells. Wildcats up by 27. Christy Clark from outside ends the drought.
Like I said, all she got to do is find her a way to get open. She's the best shooter. She always has been.
Wells went the entire quarter without a point, and they score on their first shot in the fourth.
Had her in 5th and 6th grade, and she was the best shooter then, and that doesn't change.
Brown couldn't coax that one in. That one she does. That's first points for Brown, who had 14 against Marshwood the other night. Clark, launch it again. It's good! Why wasn't this girl shooting before? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I think I mentioned that a few times.
They've scored 9 of their 17 points on threes in this game. If it Wow, they have hit 3 3-pointers and 1 2-point field goal. And that came in the
Think
first
about
quarter.
that.
This one's for the record books, I think. 40-17.
They're going to go out after clock now. They're not going to
Yeah.
give her a free one, though, again.
Moody, collision picked up by Johansson.
Their passing has not been real sharp here of late.
Brown hits it.
Ooh, that's the thing that Coach Clark luxury has. He's got some big people. Brown and Coughlin are two of his better outside shooters. You'll notice that one of those big people will always be on the outside. Christie, you're out of your range.
That's a little too far. Bickford trying to back him in. Good power move. 6 for Bickford.
Wells almost matching their total game offensive output in this last 2 minutes here. A minute and a half.
Scored 8 points in a minute 35. They scored 11 through 3 quarters. Amazing thing is Clark became their leading scorer on 2 shots. Coughlin. Oh, people getting pushed around on the floor in a jump ball. And in comes Jessica O'Malley. 5'7" senior comes in for Brown, and Cry will come in for Mailing. And Boone in for Moody. Kathleen Byrne with the basketball. Coughlin off the mark. York ball. Boys contest is our next one here on Game of the Week between Wells and York. Then it's Class A action for a while up till Christmas. Sanford and South Portland next Wednesday and Thursday at 7:30. Steal by Nickerson. Up ahead to Cry. Work. Oh,
Nice job.
that's a good job keeping the dribble alive.
Step up and take it, Jen.
Boone. Off
Could
the
have been
back of the
fouled
rim.
a three-pointer, actually.
I saw that the other night. Griffin took 3 free throws off a 3-point foul. So the 4-point play is a possibility. It always has been. Byrne off the mark.
There it is. Take it, Christie. All right. She gets somebody on it this time. Nice shot. That's what Christie needs to do. If they're going to come out after her, is she needs to take it to the hoop. Nice
Cry.
job.
Drew the foul. Neither team in the bonus in the second half.
Well, for Wells, we mentioned they're young, and they've played some good teams early. Kennebunk and York figured to be 2 of the better teams here in Class B this year. Doesn't get any easier, or it does get a little easier. I think they're going to be playing Marshall next, and that might be a good ball game, Eric.
Yeah, I think it would be.
I see no reason why Wells shouldn't be able to play with Marshall
Yeah,
after what we've
Marshall
seen tonight.
Not blessed with a lot of size, and certainly with Cindy Dale out of the lineup. You know, Wells matchups pretty well with them.
That might be a game that Wells wants to up tempo,
Yeah, could be.
because I think they may be a better ball handling team than Marshall.
42-20 after the Cry free throw. There's the York foul. Foul is on Griffin. Still no bonus. Team foul number 6.
Wells will be in the bonus on the next foul by York.
Swing it to Clark. Obviously a very concerted effort to get her the ball now.
Oh, making a couple of threes will do that.
She's got to make 7 of them to pull them just within a point, so. Johansson. Nice ball handling in the open
Yep,
court.
does a nice job getting the ball up.
Oh, Melanie Griffin says, thank you very much.
Clark did a nice job tapping the ball away, but tapped it right in the hand into Griffin. Griffin's hands.
Griffin's first basket. Clark off the backboard.
You know, you got to think that Coach Clark's still a little happy when he's seen this here.
Yeah. Here's O'Malley. Brings it back out. Coughlin Whew. Real smooth. Laura Coughlin now with 11.
And I don't know how many of those. I don't think she made any inside. I think they've all been outside shots.
Boone, the runner. Right to Bickford. Missed.
Fry keeps it alive. And Boone comes away with it. Good hustle
Boone
by.
hustling.
Yep. Wells hasn't given up. They've continued to hustle, and that's a good sign for them. Those are the type of things that'll pay off for a team over the course of a season. And it's nice to see with, as they are, with short with bodies and everything else, not just physically, but literally numbers-wise, to see them continue to play hard here, you know, with 4 minutes to go in a game.
Moody in for Cry is Jen Boone, who is 2 for 2 from the line. Will shoot 1 and 1. Team is 8 for 18 from the line. 44%. Just the second one. Coughlin and Pam Moody, the beneficiary of that.
The interesting thing to see here is how many shots Christy Clark's taken tonight and how many she made.
That was a creative save by Coughlin, I thought, between the legs to try to get it back. And things getting sloppy. Wells down by just 20. Here's Clark. Nickerson, she'll put it up. Missed it.
This team has some shooters. Nickerson's an excellent shooter, too. She had 18 in her first game. She can score, too.
And she had almost half their points. Only scored 42 in the first game. York ball with 3:27 left in the game. 46-26 Wildcats. Don't forget player of the game selection coming up. It's going to be a tough one tonight.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yep. Been that kind of game.
Yep, you're right.
Griffin picks up the loose ball.
I got an idea. What if we give it to Christy Clark, and then she can come on with her dad?
That'd be something. She certainly breathed life into this Wells team offensively in the second half.
Absolutely.
Dare to say that would be precedent-setting. We've never done that before.
Our first daughter and father interview.
Stacey Kennedy into the basketball game. So everyone has gotten in for York. Kennedy, a 5'5" senior who we saw for a moment in the Marshwood game. $11. Wildcats scored against Marshwood, and that's 7 here scored today. Harnum missing.
Nice rebound by Nickerson, but she just lost it on the way up, I think. She's had a few shots in there, which doesn't seem like she's gone real strong, been a little tentative, taking it to the hoop.
Griffin.
Nice pass.
Kennedy saves it. Stone being harassed by Clark.
Nice defense by Clark.
Get the ball to O'Malley and get it blocked, and Bickford saved it. Oh, and Mel Griffin from outside.
They're right out on Clark right now.
Cross court to
Skip
Moody.
Pass.
Rainbow. Rebounded by Johansson.
Wells has stopped crashing the boards, however.
Starting 5 on the bench for York. Watching the conclusion of this one. Wells up by 22. Griffin from outside, off the mark. Johansson keeping an eye on Clark. Get the ball to her. Back out to Harnum.
Nice pass.
Into Bickford, the hook. Knocked out, or foul. Foul call on the play. And it's on Melissa Stone, her second. Moody for 1 and 1. Misses the front end. Stone with a rebound, a minute 45 left in this one. Up ahead to Kennedy. Stacey Kennedy looks for help. Stone over Clark for 2.
Tough shot to get off, too, because she had Clark right in her face.
4 for Stone. That's the way they set their offense. Clark's on that side all the time and hits it from 3 feet beyond the three-point line. 12.
There's a better three-point shooter anywhere around, but I'd like to know who she is.
12 for Clark, all in the fourth quarter on threes. Kennedy tried to answer and was off the mark. Moody.
Nice hustle by Kennedy.
Got it stolen. Here's Stone. Stolen right back. Jump ball. Moody and Stone, I think, exchanged some words there, which you don't like to see. 56 seconds left. Heather Mailing in for Ann Bickford, who played herself a good game, Bob. Came up with 6 points.
Yeah,
did
she
a
did
good
a nice
job.
job.
Clark. What will we see next? That's to Nickerson. Now to Harnum. The rainbow. Mailing's there and it falls.
Good weak side board by Mailing, only a freshman.
First bucket for Mailing. 30 seconds left. Bodies are flying. Here's Kennedy. Nice pass into O'Malley. And Wells ball with just 17 seconds left. 50-31. We'll be back in just a moment with our player of the game and head coach. Plaque presentation. Put Clark on the other side this time.
That time she got partially blocked.
Yeah. Griffin picks it up. 2 seconds left. They won't get the shot off. It does not count. And Wells, get a load of this, scores 11 points through 3 quarters, scores 20 in the fourth quarter, but it is not enough. The Wildcats just too good for Warriors by the score of 50-31. Joining Bob and I for the postgame show, head coach of the Wildcats, Rick Clark, and our sports stop player of the game tonight, senior Laura Coughlin. She had 11 points in the Wildcat win tonight, and Laura, congratulations.
Thanks.
Laura, we noticed that this game much different from the start of the Marshwood game, where you got out 14-0 right away, put them away early. This Wells team tried to slow things down a little bit tonight. Were you surprised that they tried to use the tempo that way?
Yeah, I think we were a little overconfident at the beginning, and then towards the second half we decided to pick it up and try to make it faster.
Yeah. What was the difference? We noticed that, I believe it was the third quarter when you held them scoreless, you still had a 14 point lead, then you went on a 10-point run that really sealed it at that point. Did the team just decide to kind of get their act together and increase the pressure and play a little better?
Yeah, I think we started working our offense better and our defense picked up, and we got some shots off.
Yeah. What do you think of the first 3 games so far, Laura? I mean, you've had 3 in the scoring column. It appears to be 3 rather easy wins. How would you grade the first 3 games?
I don't want to become overconfident, but I hope that in the next couple of games we'll be able to keep it up and keep up the tempo with everything.
Is it tough knowing that, I mean, a lot of people have picked this team to, to be one of the top teams? Is that difficult to deal with game in and game out? Do you really have to try to tell yourself, well, maybe we're not as good as the Clippings and we've got to come out and play every night?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, and I just want to take one game at a time and not look forward too far.
Okay, well, congratulations, Laura. You won the plaque from Sports Stop, being our player of the game. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay, senior Laura Coughlin with 11 points tonight. She did not lead the Wildcats. Andrea Little did have 13 points tonight, but Laura has been a steady performer for you, Rick, for a number of years, and she had a really nice outside shot tonight working for her. We noticed most of her points, if not all of them, came really from 10, 12, 14 feet away from the basket.
Yeah, I think Laura has a good outside 12, 14, 15-foot shot. So do the other 2 big girls, and they did take a couple out from there, and I think it helped us a little bit. They really packed it in. We couldn't get the ball in. We tried to force it in to no avail. So I was glad to see some outside shooting from somewhere.
Did the press, we noticed that it gave Marshwood a lot of trouble. Did Wells just work better against the press, or was your press not working as well as it did the other night?
Well, we tried a different press, and for a few minutes in the first half, I wasn't very pleased with it. So we switched to a man-to-man. I wasn't very pleased with that. We went back to the one that did the best job against Marshwood, and that's the one that started to work finally in the third quarter in particular. So we kept adjusting, trying to find something to get us running a little bit. We don't like to slow down, as I think people start to realize, and people are going to try to do that. We've got to adjust to that.
Okay, Bob?
Coach talked to you prior to the game, and we said, you got different looks at you. Marsh would try to go man-to-man against you, and obviously that wasn't successful. You kind of expected that you might see something different, and you're probably going to keep seeing things until something works against you. You mentioned, though, you like to see as many different looks as you possibly can, because obviously it helps in seeing what you need to work on.
I think we learned a couple of things tonight. The girls learned to pay attention to every game. They although we weren't supposed to, I think they're looking ahead to Monday's Kennebunk game, and they almost paid the price for it. Wells did a good job, a very aggressive job. I think if some of their shots had fallen and a couple of passes had been a little better, it would have been a very close game at halftime and had been a different second half. But no, I think the girls have got to adjust to anything that comes at us. We finally overcame it. We hung together. I told them the defense was great. I mean, I don't know how much time was left when Christie started hitting three-pointers, but they only hit 11 or 13 points. What can you say about a defense like that? But the offense has got to produce, too. I think they finally did.
And talking about positive things, Christy, your daughter, you have to be very pleased, and it wasn't because you were just leaving her alone, because actually after she hit about 2 of them, you had somebody right on. You had to be pleased to see her getting some shots off, and it must be a little tough coaching against your daughter, and I know she came over to shake your hand prior to the game and everything else. It's kind of a little different feeling, isn't it, Coach?
Very different. It's the first time it's happened. We've been anticipating this for years, and it is different. I was glad that there wasn't a close game when she was hitting those threes. It would have been a little panic time, but 2 of them were way out. And, I'm glad to see her have a good game as long as my team could win. So.
If you will, to look at this Wells team coming in, they are short, they are a little undermanned, but there has to be some positive signs for them tonight. As you said, they came out, they took the air out of the ball, they played to their advantage, they got you out in one-on-one. They missed some shots inside early, some layups there that it could have been a ball game for at least for the half. And they're young. They showed some positive signs, I think.
I think it's a team that should improve as the year goes on. They do have a lot of quickness. They've got some real good outside shooters, not just Christie, but 2 or 3 other girls there can put it up on any given night. And if they're aggressive with their defense and get some steals, etc., they could give anybody trouble. I think they're going to win some games here down the stretch, which is good for us. And I hope they do. I'd like to see them have a good program develop.
Okay, you get Kennebunk Monday. You want to talk a little bit about that? They match up size with you pretty good.
Yeah, they've seen us twice. They saw us at the Marshwood game, which was probably one of our better games. They saw us tonight when we struggled against a different look. And I'd be interested to see what they're going to come out against us with. They have 2 big girls. We've got 3, and I don't think they can match up. And I think their weakness, I probably shouldn't say this on the air, but their guards are not their strength, and my guards are pretty good, and I think maybe that'll be the difference.
Okay, we won't see you for a while. We want to wish you happy holidays and the best of luck the rest of the way, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Alrighty.
Okay. Thank you, Rick.
The Wildcats come up with a 50-31 victory tonight, and as we mentioned, Wells had 11 points through 3 quarters, come up with 20 in the 4th quarter alone to make it even a little closer than potentially what it could have been. But that's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight, and next time we will see you, the Wells York boys will match up down at Butler Gym in York, and then we'll have a Class A contest for you later in the week on Wednesday and Thursday as the Sanford and South Portland boys get together. So for my partner Bob Gould, for head coach Rick Clark, Sports Star Player of the Game Laura Coughlin, our videographer Steve Twombly, I'm Eric Nelson. Have a nice night.